The overthinking is quite honestly the devil. Like, you know, when there's those TV shows when you have the devil on this side and then God on this side, that's really true. Like, I'm telling you right now, overthinking, over the like all of those self-limiting beliefs, negative talk, you know what I'm saying, overthinking about yourself and just stressing, it's all the devil. Like, that's the devil side of you trying to take over and win. In the God state, and what I've came across and I found out, the God state is calm regardless. Like, Jesus walked around earth just dirty, you know what I'm saying? Like, not to disrespect his name, never that. But Jesus walked around his day and he was dirty. Like, his clothes were dirty, he was messed up. People would spit on him, people would smack at him. Some people would worship him, some people wouldn't. And he just kept it moving. You see what I'm saying? Like, even when he was distressful at times because he was human, you know what I'm saying? We seen him as the perfect person in the world, which he was because he was the son of God. But he felt all of the same emotions that we have felt, where it's stress, where it's worry, where, you know what I'm saying, we're overthinking, things like that. He all felt that. Like, I don't think a lot of people understand or analyze that Jesus went through those feelings as well. That he had to become something great and to become the greatest leader for him to be the perfect example. So, like, even when you stem it from that side where the devil is, like, making you worry and living through that philosophy of, like, overthinking, depression, all of that stuff is the devil side, you're just like, okay, let me take a step back and get back on my God side, where God's right here, and you're just like, you're not overthinking. You just let things happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, things just flow. It's like, so this video is, while stressing, even while going through like the nuttiest times of your life, where things are all negative, you're stressed out, you're sad, you're depressed, you're overthinking in your head, it's never going to help you. And nothing bad ever really happens when you're stressing so bad. Like when you got to pay your bills and you don't have enough money or something like that, or you have a lot of things going on within your life. It's like stressing is just never going to do anything for you. It's just only going to hinder your mind and steer you on the wrong direction. So when you're going through these things and you're stressed out, and you're overthinking and you're desperate and you just have so much things going on, this person left you, or your relationship ended, or whatever it is, it's like you realize that even stressing through all of this shit where you have to pay rent or pay somebody back or pay some money or get you some money or something, or you're broke or you don't know where you're going to live, all situations I've been in, I take a step back, get out of my emotions, and I'm like, stressing and worrying about this is never going to help me. It's never going to provide a perfect plan or anything like that. When you take a step back and reanalyze what you're thinking and how you're feeling, you just realize, like, nothing's going to happen. Like, I'm gonna keep it a real. Like, a lot of things aren't going to happen that, like, in your head is, like, the worst case scenarios. Those scenarios really never happen. And I can tell you guys from experience about this, like, even when I was like getting kicked out of my house when I was a kid, and you know what I'm saying, I didn't know where I was gonna go, and I was just stressing. It just made everything worse. Like, I would stress so much to the point where I would smoke weed every single day. Every minute of the day, it felt like I was high from the moment I woke up till the last blunt before I go to sleep. And none of that helped me. You know what I'm saying? Like, even smoking the weed, like, it would make it temporary where the pain would go away, but all it really was just not dwelling on it. Like, literally, where I'm like, okay, where do I have to sleep? Where am I going to live? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just here thinking, okay, where I'm going to live? What the fuck? Like, I'm going crazy. But then when I took a step back and smoked some weed, it just eased off my mind. You know what I'm saying? It just took me off of my anxious type of mindset where I'm like, oh my God, where am I going to live? What am I going to do? I have no money. I'm broke. I don't know where I'm going to live. And when I smoked that weed, I just fell back. I just relaxed. I calmed the fuck down. And that's why I needed it all the time. But once you've realized you don't need weed, because weed is just going to make it more temporary and you're going to need it more for you to feel that feeling, you just have to come to that state without weed. You know what I'm saying? Where your mind isn't on that. You know what I'm saying? Because even stressing about it is not going to help you, because the worst case scenarios that happen in life, the scenarios of me stressing over this thing instead of letting it flow into God's hands and me making a plan that I actually did to get out of these situations with the right clear state of mind, that's the only thing you're supposed to live by. That stressing is never going to help you. Like, I'm telling you, when you're in those emotional roller coasters, it's not until you could take a step back, reiterate your thoughts, and be like, things aren't even as bad as it ever will be. Once you start to look at life from the bright side, from like SpongeBob and Patrick, where they would fuck Squidward's life up, and Squidward's just like crashing out on them. He's going nuts on them, and they're just like, well, look at the bright side, Squidward. Like, at least you have your couch. At least you have your house. At least you have this. At least you have that. And it's like, once you implement the bright side within your life, you just start to see things like, yeah, I already have everything that I need. I have a roof over my head. I have my clothes, and I'm grateful for it. The overthinking is quite honestly the devil. Like, you know, when there's those TV shows when you have the devil on this side and then God on this side, that's really true. Like, I'm telling you right now, overthinking, over the like all of those self-limiting beliefs, negative talk, you know what I'm saying, overthinking about yourself and just stressing, it's all the devil. Like, that's the devil side of you trying to take over and win. And the God state, and what I've came across and I found out, the God state is calm regardless. Like, Jesus walked around earth just dirty, you know what I'm saying? Like, not to disrespect his name, never that. But Jesus walked around his day and he was dirty. Like, his clothes were dirty, he was messed up. People would spit on him, people would smack at him. Some people would worship him, some people wouldn't. And he just kept it moving. You see what I'm saying? Like, even when he was distressful at times because he was human, you know what I'm saying? We seen him as the perfect person in the world, which he was because he was the son of God. But he felt all of the same emotions that we have felt, where it's stress, where it's worry, where, you know what I'm saying, we're overthinking, things like that. He all felt that. Like, I don't think a lot of people understand or analyze that Jesus went through those feelings as well. That he had to become something great and to become the greatest leader for him to be the perfect example. So, like, even when you stem it from that side where the devil is, like, making you worry and living through that philosophy of, like, overthinking, depression, all of that stuff is the devil side, you're just like, okay, let me take a step back and get back on my God side, where God's right here, and you're just like, you're not overthinking. You just let things happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, things just flow. It's like you're truly detaching. And once you follow that, but also, like, work upon your problems, you see what I'm saying? Like, if I was big and I was just looking into the mirror and feeling like I hated myself every day, I'm going to make a plan, because when you're thinking with your logical mind and you're not, like, in your animal lustful desires, because we've seen where your lust can take you. You know what I'm saying? When you're thinking regular and you're watching a video like this right now, you're just like thinking regular and you're using your mind. But then when lust comes, or you know what I'm saying, your testosterone, your penis gets hard, bro, you want to go to the hub and you want to go onto porn and all of that shit. But that's not really you. That's just your animal desire. Like, it's you, but it's like the devil's side trying to hold you. You know what I'm saying? And when you're thinking with your regular mind, you could then make plans that make perfect sense, that fall in line with who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm in the mirror right now, and say, for example, I was really big and I didn't like how I looked in the mirror. I would make a plan thoroughly instead of getting into my emotions, because when you get into your emotions, you feel some certain type of way. You feel like you're distressful, you're stressed out about your body or how you look. Stressing is just never going to get you to the right answers. It's just going to make you feel bad about yourself in every single situation. So if you look into the mirror and I was out of shape and, you know what I'm saying, I was like 300 pounds and I didn't like how I look, I would say, okay, I'm going to start hitting the gym. And just do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I know these emotions of, you know, you might want to know what workouts to do or something like that, or you're overthinking, or you're too embarrassed to start the gym. They might happen, because I heard other people say that. But quite honestly, when I was a kid and I was super skinny and I didn't like how I looked, it just wasn't a doubt in my mind. I was like, okay, let me just go hit the gym. Like, let me be logical about this situation. You see what I'm saying? When you're thinking with your right mind and you're not stressful, or you're not, like, you know what I'm saying, when you're back against the wall is when you really come out, because you're like, okay, hold on, I really need to make a plan. Let me start thinking with the right, you know what I'm saying, the right state of mind. Because if this doesn't work, you're like, shit, what the fuck I'm gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So you might have a little stress within that, but you're starting to think more logical. Like, you take a step back of like, okay, let me really make a plan for this shit to work out. You know what I'm saying? Whatever situation you're in, you weigh the pros and cons and you're using your right mind. And with your right mind, you're not using your emotions. You're thinking strictly logical of like, okay, what can I do? What am I supposed to do in order for me to feel better, or for me to, like, outwit this storm and solve this problem? That's where I realized, like, even with me, like, I give you guys a lot of knowledge and information, but even then I still overthink in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Just like 20 minutes ago, I was just overthinking. But then I came back, I took a step back, and I thought, I used my brain. I used my mind for real. I, like, used my God side. Because let me, like, elaborate on the God side. Your God side is what it is. It's your calm self. It's you just taking a step back. Hey, it is what it is. Like, real shit. And You know what I'm saying? It's almost detaching from whatever it is, but also using your mind to find the right plan for you to exceed. You see what I'm saying? Because once you take a step back and you're not in your emotions and you're not stressful anymore, or worried or any of that, or anxious, you take a step back and looking like, I already have everything I need. Things are going to happen regardless. And that's like you at your calm state. And your calm state is your God state. Like it literally is, where nothing can phase you, where nothing's bothering you. So you take a step back and detach and then realize what you have to do, and you see it logical. Okay, hit the gym. All right, smooth. I'm gonna hit the gym tomorrow. You make decisions off of your mind that is in line. You know what I'm saying? Like the perfect emotions that are going to steer you off are overthinking and being distressful and having, negative self-limiting beliefs and self-doubt. Those are going to steer you off a line of what you do. Getting out of that and stepping into your God self is going to be like, okay, wait, hold on. Let me take a step back. Why do I feel like quitting, or why do I feel like giving up, or why are these things are happening? Stress is just not going to give me the right answers. Stress is going to blind me in a way. It's just going to make me feel even worse about myself. So when you're thinking logically, you're stepping in line with your God self as well, because you're just making the right decisions off the top of your head and just writing down maybe how you feel. And once you let out those emotions, now you're thinking logically. Like I said earlier, those are situations where I was even getting kicked out of my house and I was so stressed out, and I used weed to cope it out and to just like step into my God state. Like it's kind of weird saying that smoking weed was stepping into my God state, but it just made me ease my mind. And once I eased my mind, it was like, it felt like heaven. Like I already had everything that I needed. Okay, even if things were to hit the fan and I have to live in my car or something like that, I would have just done it. You know what I'm saying? And I did that for like 3 or 4 days where I didn't know where I was going. From that point, I was just thinking more logically of like, okay, I can go shower over here. I can go do this at the gym and shower, work out, still shower, go to work and get me some money and, find a spot eventually. Or maybe I could call a friend. And I was just thinking logically when I was in my calm state. Because when I was stressed out, it was like I was lenient onto other things. When you're lenient and you're just like desperate for this to happen, it's just like, damn, like this is the only thing you have going for yourself. And without seeing the good within the bad. And when you're desperate, it's like that situation or that decision can make or break you. Like, say if this person said no and they didn't let me sleep at their house, it would be like, damn, what the fuck? Instead of me stepping into my God state and be like, okay, maybe an extra day in the car and I'll figure something out as well. And I'm going to think about this all night, just there like logically, and fill out a plan, because the stressing was never going to help. Like it never did. And a lot of those situations that you think in your mind just never happen. The worst case scenarios just never happen. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're dwelling on them so much that you cause them to come into your reality. Like real shit. But when you detach and you realize that you have everything within yourself, and you just use figures like Jesus. Like I've been using him a lot, where I'm using their stories to give me power and to gain my confidence again and to stay into the God state, where I'm like, things aren't never going to be as bad as they say they are. Like situations only get worse is when we think and dwell upon them and stress about it, and the situation just keeps growing, and it never happens. You know what I'm saying? So things just are never always going to happen as bad as you imagine them to happen. Real shit. Like that's the realest it can get. And using those stories of like Job, where everything got like God's eyes, everything was going perfect for Job, and Satan wanted to test God, where he was like, okay, I'm gonna take everything from him and to see if he still remains with you, because he only remains with you when everything is going good and he has everything. And God was like, okay, take everything except his life. Satan took his family members' lives. He took all the way his crops, his animals, everything for him to basically kind of to survive. He took it all away. And Job, as any human being, any normal human being would be, he started to second guess himself. He started to second guess God. And he was looking up to the sky like, God, why is this happening? Like, I have a lot of faith. Trust me, I do. It's just, why? What happened? What did I do? And he's second guessing himself, like he must have done something. And he called over his best friends and he's talking to them. They're trying to figure out like what Job did in order to get God upset. But quite honestly, Job did nothing. He did nothing wrong. He was a good human. Like literally, Satan took almost everything from him, and he took so many of his like family members' lives, and his people that were close to him, and his crops and his house and everything like that. And Job is just like, wait, what did I do? And he brought all of his friends around, and they're just like trying to like see like, okay, maybe you did this or maybe you did that, like trying to figure it out. But he didn't do anything wrong. And Once he asked God, like, why? What did I do? Please, like, I don't know what I did. I'll, you know what I'm saying? I'll change up what I did. God was like, don't question me. God was real at that point. I believe this might have been the Old Testament. So if you read the Old Testament, a little bit about the Old Testament, you know God was like, he was type tough. I ain't gonna lie. He was wiping people down for, going crazy. And God told him, don't question me. And as he kept in having remaining faith within himself, he got everything back. And once you use stories like that of like, okay, I might be homeless tomorrow, or I might not have a lot going within my life right now, but shit, at least my parents didn't die like how Job's, family members did, or at least someone close to me hasn't died, or at least I still got my house, at least I still got food and shelter. You know what I'm saying? And then you start to see your life as like, okay, let me tighten up. You start to see it literally from the bright side of like SpongeBob and Patrick, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. Like, my life isn't as bad as Job, so I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to see through the storm and make a plan and stand 10 toes on that plan and have faith with God. And at the end of the story of Job, God gives back everything times two to Job for having faith and gaining the Lord's trust. And you start to realize your life is never as bad as that. So you just have to tighten up at the end of the day. It's like, okay, I'm crying in my room because I'm fat, or I might be homeless tomorrow, or something like that, or something negative might really happen in your life, or I'm crying over this girl while this dude's family members died, while he lost his house, where he lost all his crops and everything, but I'm sitting here crying over a girl. Which situation you want to be? I'd rather cry over the girl than have everything taken away from me. You see what I'm saying? So having that stressful mindset is never going to save you. It's never going to help you, bro. That's just me just ranting on, you know what I'm saying, being stressful or overthinking. I was just overthinking, about like 30 minutes ago. And do you see how emotions just completely change from within like a 20 to 30 minute mind frame? Like, I'm back to normal Patrick. Instead, back then I was thinking about like something negative, and it was like, why? Being stressful isn't going to help anyways. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to cure the problem. What's going to cure the problem is me using my mind and being calm and figuring out what I should do and planning on it and executing the plan. You see what I'm saying? But me stressing or me overthinking about this, that, and third, I'm like, I took the step back. I'm like, why? You know what I'm saying? Your life is never as bad as Job's, or, things like that. And we get too caught up into this materialistic world where we need certain things, or we need more money, or more fame, or more success, or more people around you, or more something. Nah, I got everything I need. And God in the universe is going to bring me and reward me everything while I live through this God state. You see what I'm saying? So I love y'all, bro. Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to leave my last video right here for you guys. So if you missed upon that, go watch that video. So stay yourself, stay 300, and whatever you do in life, trust me, I believe in you, bro. Okay, guys, so I actually read a little piece of this book yesterday as well. And to go into this video, this is by Napoleon, one of the greatest leaders from the French area, the French Revolution, and for France. He was one of the greatest leaders. He said, a genius is the man who can do the average thing when everyone around him is going crazy and losing his mind. So when you're like losing your mind, you're going crazy, you're stressing out about everything, when you just do the average thing and just do what you're supposed to and just stay focused and don't let it get to you, that is being a genius. It's like, when everyone's stressing out, they're going crazy, and you're just like that man who just like casually goes and does what he has to do or solves the solution. It's like you realize everyone there is just losing their mind for no reason. You just stand 10 toes down on what you do and you'll win. So I just had to implement that. So I love y'all, boys. Stay yourself, stay 300, and whatever you do in life, trust me, I believe in you, bro.